Okay, everybody, get ready. We are starting this thing off with a montage. Enjoy.
Hold up, I am on my way, I'm in motion. Let's go to the ocean. Yeah, let's go outside.
And here we are. Hello, hello. A very good morning, afternoon, or evening, depending on where you are. And welcome to the Week 5 Alpha Update for Rose Online. How are we all doing? I hope you enjoyed the montage. I certainly enjoyed putting it together. And did you see that little tiny Easter egg from Luna right at the end? And yes, Vexoy, you can't see Lazy Penguin. I have deliberately covered it up so you cannot see him. I can, however. But you can't. You're just going to have to wait just a few moments for that. So a few of the usual sort of housekeeping things. All the channel redemptions are turned off. The only one that you can do is just the highlight message for 100 channel points. All the others are turned off for this stream. The on-screen emojis are turned off as well. They'll be back in tomorrow's live stream. And also the sound alerts have been turned off as well. There will be an opportunity to ask questions later, so don't type in any questions until I specifically say so in the chat, because they won't. I won't see them. Just wait, and that opportunity will be coming your way very, very soon. So tonight we're going to go through the same sort of usual format that you're used to. We'll bring on Mr. Lazy Penguin in just a few moments' time. I have a few questions. We'll open it up to you guys. We can have a short Q&A, and then there's another montage right at the end of the stream, which you definitely need to see. If you were watching my live stream earlier on today, that might give you a little clue. But yeah, there's an epic montage coming right at the end of the stream, so definitely stay tuned. So here we go, let's get into it. Let's say hello to Lazy Penguin. Hello, sir.
slow on the unmute there. Hey, how are you, Harry?
Yeah. I was just thinking that, oh no, there's a problem. I'm great, thank you. It's so good to see you again. It's been 2 whole weeks. By the way,
Yeah. We made a decision to make these every 2 weeks instead of 1 week. Works better for us. Unfortunately, it means you have to wait a little bit in between updates. But
I'm absolutely loving the striped shirts.
yes,
I know.
salmon pink.
There's been a lot of speculation, certainly on my streams, as to what color you might wear today. And I think somebody actually did say pink. So halfway there.
Close, pretty close, yeah.
So I guess I can start off with the main question, the one that we're all here to hear, and that is, it's been 5 weeks into the sort of alpha, and it's been 2 weeks since we last heard any kind of major update. What are the updates? Are there any updates?
Sure, we have a big announcement, but before we move forward, I think some people are having a hard time hearing my microphone. Is that something you can take a look on your side? Otherwise, I'll...
You sound pretty good on my side. I can maybe increase desktop audio to max level, so you can try again. And maybe see if you can increase on your side as well. Like, your little microphone thing is quite far from your mouth.
Yeah, we can try bringing it a little closer. Is that better, everybody?
You sound beautiful in my ears. Absolutely beautiful. Yes, Vexoy says yes. If Vexoy says yes, it is true. So yes,
Good.
what are the updates? What is the big juicy announcement? What's going on?
Before we jump in, I just want to take a chance here to thank our alpha testers. It's been about 4 weeks since we teed off our alpha, and it's really been tremendous feedback for the team. We've had alpha testers who aren't streaming, and they're sharing their feedback on Discord. We have others who are super diligent and posting everything they find on the forums. We have a private alpha testing section. And then, of course, Harry, like you, some others have been regularly streaming, and being able to see the interactions between, you and the community. We try our best to join streams, see the questions that come up, the conversations that happen. Sometimes people link us to, conversations that are that they think are important for us to take a look at. So all that feedback is hugely important to us. So I wanted to thank you, Harry, and all the other streamers and alpha testers, but also, the community that have been pretty good about being interacting and being involved. Even though it might not feel like it, your engagement really does help us to make this game better and work on it. So just want to say thank you to everybody. It's really been wonderful.
Yeah, thanks so much. And I think actually I need to say thank you back, because you chose us out of like a huge sort of like so many people applied, didn't they? And it's so humbling to be a part of this process. And again, having the community come to my stream and other people's streams every single day, absolutely astronomical. So thank you.
Exactly. It really means a lot, I think, to everybody involved. And so I'm happy that everyone's happy. We want to, make a nice community. And so it's really pleasant to have the community growing and building. The team loves it, and I personally really do as well. So with that, I think we can jump into the next thing. It's kind of segues. We've been getting a lot of good feedback. We've, if you've been following along, you can see we've made some changes, some dramatic, some less so. And the conversation happening around those have been wonderful. The big announcement and the kind of conclusion we've come to is that we have decided to cancel our rescaling work, our rescaling plans. So for those of you who've been following, initially at the beginning of development, we were shrinking the levels from 1 to 100, and our alpha testers have been testing the heck out of it, right? We've people who have made it to 100, I think only a handful, testing all the different levels, the end game, that sort of thing. But from that testing and from that information, we've kind of realized that it's not really having the effect that we want. And more importantly, it's creating a lot of rippling effects in the game that, we weren't really a big fan of. It messed up the end game. It put dungeons and instances and arenas in a weird place. There was a lot of open questions about like how do we handle the items and the horizontal scaling. I think big respect to the previous teams that are our predecessors who worked on this. I think they spent a lot of time to make sure things were balanced. And we wanted to take the time now in alpha to test something like the level rescale. And we did a test. We had a hypothesis. We did a test, and from the results, we're going to go make a different decision. And so the new plan is we are going to revert back to, for the experienced players, back to how the game was more like towards the end of before it shut down. So level 250 cap, similar concepts that were there. I know this might be disappointing to some people. It was definitely disappointing to the team, right? We believed that the rescale would be good, but one thing we realized is that we want to focus on more meaningful changes to the game. The rescale was just a little bit of a new spin on the old theme, and so we want to think more creatively and go for bigger changes, the kind of questions that the community were asking us, things like clans, union wars, castle gears. We want to be able to spend time on those things rather than the rescale event. So that's our kind of main announcement. So we'll have the game as it was as our starting base, and we're going to keep most of the changes that we've already made, things like the buff changes, the movement speed changes. There's a few that haven't been released yet that we can talk about, like we buffed like launchers and that sort of thing. So we're going to keep those changes that you've seen, but the only thing that's going to be reverted back would be the level range.
Wow, that is a huge announcement. I see now why you didn't tell me when I was trying to get little tidbits of information out of you earlier in the week, and I'm sure the chat will have plenty of questions as well. So with that in mind, chat, you can start posting your questions and we will get to them shortly. So just start your question with the word question in capitals just so I can easily see it. So that's that. So I guess my next question to you, Lazy Penguin, is the timeline of alpha, because I know initially we said a minimum of 6 weeks, and we do actually start the 6th week next week. So how do we sit currently in terms of the timeline? Are things going to plan? Do you see the timeline being extended? What's going on?
Yeah, so scaling back the rescale, it saves us a lot of effort that we'd have to do into rebalancing, right? The game, one thing we discover is when you remove a lot of the pay-to-win elements, the game is actually fairly decently balanced. Now, there are areas which need work and that sort of thing, but it does remove a lot from our backlog of tasks that we need to work on. And so our intent is now, because we're not going to have to do like large scale gameplay changes, we can really emphasize more technical things on the alpha, focus on bug fixing, maybe some minor features and stability things, and we can kind of ramp up our efforts to push head on towards beta. I think the timelines are going to extend a little bit. There's some things we still haven't had a chance to fix, like the duping issues. There's some technical work we need to do, but we're refocusing our efforts now to make sure that we can work on the technical elements that will bring us to beta a lot faster than we previously anticipated. And that's our goal at this stage. We want to bring this game to the players a little bit faster. And so one thing we're going to be doing is when we push out the new changes that we have, we're going to be wiping everyone's characters, because there's going to be a new levels and new everything like that. But we're also going to be inviting another 20 testers to alpha. So that's a pretty big jump, but we want to start getting some more feedback and start exploring PvP content and that sort of thing. So if you've been waiting all this time patiently, thank you so much. Hopefully, luck will be on your side and you'll be one of the 20 that we select for the next batch. But in the next, sometime this week, I'd say, we'll be ramping up that alpha testing number. It's literally doubling it. So.
Wow, amazing. Can't wait. So I guess I can just imagine how people are going to ask me, okay, how do I get chosen to be on this alpha test? Are you going to select from the applications that have already made, or will you reopen applications?
Won't reopen applications this time. We're using the existing application for the pool of alpha testers.
Brilliant. I know I've personally had a lot of questions about closed beta this past week in terms of when does it start? How do I find out when it will start? So I've been saying, go to roseonlinegame.com, go to the Discord. Would you say that is the best advice we could give someone?
Yeah, our best advice is just stay connected somehow. Your preference, right? Whether it's watching these streams live, catching the recordings on YouTube. We try to, keep our Facebook updated, and we're pretty active on Discord. So whatever medium you prefer, right? Just, keep your ear to the ground and see. Once we are ready for beta, there'll be an application process again, but it'll just be like throw your name in the hat kind of thing. But there's still a little bit of time for that, so don't feel that you missed that boat. We will let you know when it arrives.
Perfect. And on the subject of Facebook, everyone in the chat should follow Rose Online on Facebook. And I have to say, the posts that I made are just so funny. The little sketches, and it's just hilarious. I love them. So I guess the last one from me is linked to the big announcement. There's been a lot of discussion recently about, the horizontal progression, vertical progression, how these might work with each other. Now that you've made this announcement, now the level cap is going up, will horizontal progression still be a thing, or is that now a thing of the past?
No, we still have intents to incorporate some horizontal, systems, especially probably with new planets. That might be something we'll look into rather than dramatically increasing the. I mean, we don't want the new level cap with new planets to hit something like 500 or something, right? So we still believe in horizontal progression. We still everything that we want to do, we will be doing, but just how the foundation for it will be using more of the original game when it closed rather than the level scale. For us, there's things that we want to work on even before then. Big shout out to the team. One feature that we have that we're going to be rolling out to the alpha with the next update is we've implemented movement with WASD. Right, so it's still prototypical, right? Like there's still some bugs and things like that with it, but that's the first iteration for us to implement like the new movement mechanics. Our patch list is pretty huge, a lot of mostly quest fixes and enhancements, but we want to focus on that kind of level scale of changes, and that's where we'll be prioritizing things in beta. And then down the line, once we're in a better position to support that content, we want to invest in new content, like new dungeons and that sort of thing. I teased animated wings and castle gear skills and all these things, right? So we have a lot of ambitions on the gameplay side that's where I think you'll see most of our efforts put into in the meantime. And then, content and scaling and that sort of thing will come over time.
Perfect. Right. So exciting. WASD, that's completely epic. Right, I'm going to scroll up in the chat, so I think we can turn over now to questions from the viewers. So chat, if you do have a question, type it in the chat, start it with the word question, preferably in capital letters so I don't miss it. And I'll try and get through as many as we can. If there's any that can be answered in the FAQ, I will probably leave those ones because you can very easily get those answers. So question number 1 comes from Drezinet, and he asks, what's the plan for Luna?
Yeah, so right now, the content will remain mostly the same. Obviously, we have some opinions about, like, Luna is a very weird place because, like, there's a bunch of different maps and they have about the same, like, level ranges. So it's kind of a weird horizontal scaling situation. But that's why we want to ramp up the amount of alpha testers that we have, because now that we're going to, revert back to the old leveling cap, bring back all the old zones, is a lot more content to test. And so we need more feedback from players. How is the experience leveling on Luna? What are the shortcomings? It's hard for us to test everything on our own, and so that's why we want to increase the amount of alpha testers. And obviously going into beta, when we have a significant amount of players that are doing some testing, we want to iterate on that front. The main thing we want to explore right now is, well, how long does it take to get to level 250 without boosters and all the pay-to-win gears?
Cool. So Dactari asks the same question, so we can move on to Trebot_Rob, who asks, will the second job at release go back to being level 100?
Yeah. So anything that we change related to the new leveling changes, right? Like um, quests and second job quest, like changes we made to maybe like certain items that we made available, things like that. We plan to revert if we haven't already reverted them. So we really want to use the old Evo as like a more concrete base, but we will be making changes on top of that rather than changing the base and then making those changes.
Perfect. There's a stats question from Pam Fisher who asks, will clerics still need charm as well as intelligence?
Yeah, right now we haven't changed charm on clerics. I think we haven't. I'm not sure we had good thorough testing on the clerics when we did our level rescaling. They were a little bit overpowered and they were unbalanced. I think we would need some more information testing under the new system to see how they fare. Since they don't have a lot of buffs anymore, that's something we can look at. But charm does impact like damage over time and healing and that sort of thing. So I think it will require some experimenting before we can definitively say we're going to change it or not.
Cool. Next question is from Vexoy, who's asking if the cap is now 250, will there be changes to the planets because you can't get to 250 on Junon? I think we said previously it's going to release with just Junon. So what's going to happen there?
Yeah, we'll be releasing all the planets to support that. Now, as a team, we really do love Junon and other planets, and so at some point, we want to be able to support like leveling new additional leveling zones or leveling areas within the existing worlds. We're just not in a good position to do that yet, and I think there's some other things we want to work on before we can start developing that content. We want the content to be high quality rather than ham fisting. So when there'll be a time where we get to a point where we can develop content like that, but in the meantime, we want to focus on improving the quality of what's already there, balancing, fixing exploits, and really getting to beta quickly so that players can play, right? Like we don't want to drag this out too long. We want people to start enjoying the game with us. But there's some things we have to do first to get there.
Cool. There's more questions about needing charm to get stronger buffs. I'm assuming from what you've already said, that's not the case, or is it the case?
To be determined, yeah.
To be determined, right? Okay, so we've answered that one about planets. Azada F023 says, when is the official launch? Even if there's no exact date, can you give us an estimated date?
Right now, our priority is to get into beta. Beta can be short or long, depending on the information we gather from it and that sort of things. But our goal is to get to beta and have a successful beta, and then determine from then when we are able to go in the launch. So we want to get to beta sooner rather than later, but it's hard for us to know how long we will need to stay in beta before we can fully launch.
Yeah, I guess it's kind of hard to determine until it actually happens. Next question is from Icefigon. What kind of changes can we expect for people who love playing in a party?
Yeah, we don't have any concrete plans right now, but the team, we believe in social play. We hope that the new buff system where you need different jobs to get the whole buff set will encourage people to party and do that sort of thing. We had some talks about increasing the amount of people you can fit in a party, things like that. So we're pretty motivated to improve, gameplay elements that promote socializing and a good community, but I don't have anything concrete I can say right now.
We've got a question from Urko, and this is in relation to experience rates, and I think Urko is talking about sort of much higher level monsters where you might only get 0.01, for example, maybe a bit of an extreme example. Is this something that's going to be looked at, or is that sort of intended to continue as part of the sort of grinding experience?
Yeah, so we progression is important to us, but we also don't want the game to take an insurmountable amount of time. I think for old players with costume bonuses and full gear and things like that, they were able to fly through the levels pretty quick by optimizing their paths. But since we're removing those pay to win elements, no XP medals, I think it's going to be a different experience. And we definitely are looking at the leveling curve at the higher levels so that it's not so painful. We don't want it to be that the leveling the 1 to 250 is such a big range that it's intimidating. So we do have intents to make sure that it's not a painful endless grind to get to 250. But we definitely need more feedback from testers and players to balance that out.
Daktari asks, do all alpha testers need to stream content?
Absolutely not. It's not a requirement at all to stream. For us, we appreciate those who stream. We know it's a lot of hard work, and I know it enables people to participate who are maybe not alpha testers. So we definitely appreciate that aspect of it, but it's absolutely not required. Actually, majority of our alpha testers don't stream or don't stream regularly.
And Killsign asks, do we have to reapply for alpha if he already signed up for the first wave?
No, we're using the existing applications. Yeah.
All right, there's a question from Eternal Resolve. I'm not sure you'll be able to answer this one because it might be top secret, but he asks, what's the server drop and EXP rates?
Yeah, it's an interesting question. I think that's from like a private server mentality where it's in reference to the official one. We are the official server, so it's 1 times, right?
Yep, the best. Pam Fisher's asking, what exactly is horizontal progression? What is it?
So horizontal progression is the idea that you don't have to do things linearly, right? Like you can progress on different things in parallel. I think if I have to think of a game that does this pretty well, something like RuneScape, where you can like level your tree chopping or level your combat, and you can do those things independently. They're not related to each other. So it's that kind of concept where there's options for building your character that's not necessarily getting the next best item that makes the old one outdated, but it's different, right? Maybe item A gives you poison resistance, but item B gives you like a slowing effect, right? And you pick one or the other based on your build, your playstyle, but one or the other is not necessarily better than in all circumstances.
Perfect. Smakov is asking, are you going to be changing the leveling, or will it just be people essentially leveling in GC, Oblivion, Prison, because so many of these old zones are place fillers? What's your take on that?
Yeah, our team is going to rely on the community to give us feedback on that sort of thing. Like if a map is unused because it's boring or has bad drops, right? We can have an intuition about these things. We can look at the data. We can try them ourselves. But it really, the feedback would help us the most to know like how to change these things. And that's why our style of like working on this project is pretty open. We have these regular updates. We share, like what we're doing, because we know that for a game to be a game like Rose to be successful, right? The development team has to have a relationship with the community, and so we're hoping that if you have some opinions or thoughts about that, like please share them on the forum, please participate, right? We find that information very valuable.
Thank you very much. So I've just put in the chat, no more questions from this point, because we've got enough to carry us over. Pam Fisher's asking about the starting quest. She said it had 2 different quest lines and it felt a bit confusing. I know you've done a lot of work on the Adventurer's Plains. Maybe you could talk through sort of what's been done to improve it.
Big shout out to Garnet on this. He's really been spearheading the questing. It's pretty rigorous to edit the quests and explore them, but he's been playing through all of them. The hero quest is not bad. It seems to, I agree, there's some areas where it's a little lackluster, some parts where the dialogue and the conversations get a little cheesy. So we definitely want to invest in that main storyline as a way to progress through all the different planets. What was nice about our level squish is that we were able to focus on the beginning quests, and I think the previous team did a very good job in putting those quests together, but they kind of fall off around level 50, 60. It was a common experience with all our alpha testers, so we do want to invest in quests and improving that. It won't happen in alpha, that's something that we would want to focus on mid to late beta, just because alpha is really more about sussing out all the technical work, and we really, really want to get everybody playing. We can feel the desire for people to play, and we don't want to be stuck in alpha developmental hell forever. So.
Okay, next, Sir Aaron asks, have there been any concrete decisions concerning refining with the current alpha feedback on it?
Nothing concrete, but I can say concretely that we will change something. We're not big fans of the current system. It's tied too much to the old pay-to-win elements, and we've had a lot of negative feedback about it. So we will change something, but we haven't decided yet what that change will be.
My favorite moderator is asking his usual fun question. Prepare yourself. How long did Lazy Penguin spend on picking a t-shirt for today's stream?
Not too long. It was a normal process, but I made sure to not pick one that I wore previously. So,
so I swear the same stuff all the time. Question about the item mall from Azad. He's asking, what are the things we can buy? Are there any? Maybe they can help us grind, especially if we're playing solo. Has anything changed in terms of item mall, the sort of thinking? What's going on there?
We're still standing by that our item mall will be purely cosmetic. With our like premium accounts, there might be some, quality of life features that we put in there, but we will not bring back anything like Vena runes or XP medals or special potions or anything like that. None of that will be available. We've already removed. There was like boosters as given as reward for a bunch of quests. We're removing those things. For those who haven't followed, costume stat bonuses no longer apply to your character, so costumes are purely just that, costumes. So that's it. For our item mall, it will be in that the same spirit, right? There will be nothing that will give you an advantage in game.
Perfect. Getting close to the end. There's about 3 or 4 left. Sir Aaron asks, are all the loot tables getting looked at now with all the planets coming out?
We want to look at the blue tables. Right now, we don't plan to change them unless there's glaring problems. The one thing I will say is that because we are still not going to be bringing back runes, we're going to be removing all the materials and items related to runes. But the loot tables is a pretty complex subject. It's very technical. Redoing them is very arduous. So at this time, we're going to trust our predecessors and hope that the loop tables are okay enough, but we will listen to feedback and balance them on an as-needed basis.
Perfect. Body count is asking a question. I think this is going to be a very simple yes, but we'll ask it anyway. If we get into alpha and play 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, is that okay?
If your health can, if you can survive, then I think that's okay. I would encourage you not to, but if you want to, I won't stop you.
Tell you what, I can't even stay awake 24 hours, let alone 24 times 7. Question about merch. Will there be any merch, and where can we buy this exciting merch?
We're looking into some merchandising. I think we're trying to figure out still our branding strategy, so it'll take some time before we actually have merchandise available.
Tell you what, I can't wait to have a moldy plushie. That's the only thing I want. Right, next question is from Urko. Great question, actually. Who exactly are the developers, and how did you guys end up here with Rose?
Sure. So the development team is 100% comprised of Rose fans, people who played the game, people who maybe try to do stuff in the private server scene or build tools. There's a famous story of Genesis who built his launcher and then ended up working for Gravity, right? Like, our team is basically everybody's like that. We all love Rose, and over time you just connect with people who like Rose, and you get together, you chat, you work on things, and we had the good fortune of knowing each other, and we really have a wonderful team. And at some point after the game shut down, we decided to reach out to Gravity, and we presented to them our team and said, hey, look, this is our team. We're willing to work on this. Will you let us work on this officially? And they said yes. And so we started up this studio, and we're bringing back Rose from the dead. So that's our goal.
Rose from the dead. And that is the end of the questions, but I did see there's one sneaky last one that we can answer. This is one you've answered before, but I think it's again to sort of reiterate, because we always have new people coming in for the first time and sort of seeing these streams. And that's premium accounts. What is the advantage of having a premium account? Last question.
Yeah, we haven't flushed out the feature set for the premium accounts. It's really, we would offer it as a way for people who want to support us in a more regular basis, right? That's how we would see it, as more like a supporter, right? Rather than you get some kind of like premium status. So that would be the spirit of why we'd bring back the premium accounts.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Lazy Penguin, once again for your time, and also for the exciting news and developments. I can only speak for myself. I'm incredibly excited for the next couple of weeks and to sort of restart again. It's going to be awesome. Thank you so much.
Sorry, it was a pleasure.
And just so everyone knows, the next update is 2 weeks from now. Correct?
Oh, sorry, you're asking me. Yes, we'll do another update in 2 weeks. In the next few days, we're going to wipe the alpha server and push out our changes. So I trust our alpha testers will share those changes and features. We have a lot of nice things to show. So hopefully everybody will have a good time.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Lazy Penguin. We'll see you in a couple of weeks.
Thanks, Harry. Bye-bye.
Thank you. So that's it. Thank you, everybody, for coming along. What an amazing announcement. I'm so excited. My next stream will be tomorrow, 1:30 p.m. UK time. We're going to finish with another short montage video. It's absolutely epic. So do keep watching right until the very, very, very end. Thank you so much. I will see you guys very soon. Good night. 3, 2, 1. Okay. Now it's even Stevens. Like, the only way I can win, because I'm slightly behind, the only way I can win is if Lazy Penguin makes a mistake, or if I cut corners like this. But I went too wide. Got to say, I'm loving this purple dragon. Like, purple's one of my favorite all-time colors. I'm not gonna lie. Okay, chat. Yeah, what I'll do, I'll grab this as a clip. We'll play it at the end of the Q&A tonight. We'll replace the music with something else. And that'll be good. That'll be a good way to end the stream, I think. Oh, we're so close. I may be very slightly in the lead here. Oh, Mr. Penguin. Chat, I'm in the lead. I want loads of GGs if we make it to the end. I want the chat to go crazy. Oh, he's trying to hug the wall a little bit to shave a few split. Oh, we both did the same thing. No, that's so sad. Oh my gosh, there's no recovering from that at all. Chat, let's have a rest in peace. Rest in peace in the chat, please. Rest in peace. I'm not going to recover from that at all. Oh, and I can't believe we both did the exact same thing, and almost again there as well. Dirty tactics. Very nice. Rest in peace from Ariel. Thanks, Ariel. I'll catch up with Chai in just a second. But I'm trying to hug the wall again. Maybe he'll crash into the piece of wood or something. No, not gonna happen, Mr. Lazy Penguin. There's only one thing I can say, and that's GG. Well done. Cheers and claps for Lazy Penguin.